Go ahead.
I mean, when you think about job stuff, you get these most black men, you know, I'm black men on the business, around business. It's even hard to find jobs now that it's like black men.
Well, now, to take the blame off the system in and of itself, my mother used to always tell me it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. One thing we have to do is prepare ourselves, and luckily for us, all of you guys are trying, you're on your path to preparing yourself to have it. Even if you don't need it, you'll have it. A lot of people use that excuse to cover race discrimination because they're lazy and don't want to do nothing anyway. They already know that's their excuse. But those of us that are trying to progress and to really, I guess, fulfill or actualize or realize the American dream, we're preparing ourselves, whether you're in college, whether you get a vocation, things that you can make a living off of for the rest of your life and take care of your family or what have you. Okay, so you still got to be prepared. I don't have sympathy on the character that won't go to school or that won't do well in elementary and middle school. They know life is coming. Or the person that instead of trying to go to college, they just sit in the house drinking 211, I'm going to say, 211, right? Whatever it may be. Steel reserves. I don't have any sympathy for that person that's getting high instead of, all day long. I don't have sympathy for their predicament. But you got to make sure that you're preparing yourself. And one thing about Cornell West piece, and hopefully you got out of this lecture, you have to learn how to combat and be revolutionary against this system, but in a positive way. See, all the while everybody laughing and grinning at gangster rappers, they're an embarrassment to the race. What they have done, some of them that have brains, have accumulated enough wealth where their family, their generations are pretty good from now on, right? I was watching Tiny and Toya. That's just Wayne's baby mama, and she rich, right? So these people are providing money and opportunities for their own. So we all do that and take care of our families. And also understand this from an Afrocentric perspective and be revolutionary in the way you live your life. I always operate as if somebody is an enemy of mine. Might not be the best for you, but I operate like that so I can always be prepared for my enemy. Like I always want, whatever I say it is that I do, I try to know that I'm prepared for that at all times. And that's what you're going to do in life. Whether it's the way you raise your children, the friend that you may be, the job that you may have, you have to be prepared to battle, right? So anything that motivates you, you want to do this in a revolutionary type of context, but also with some brains and some sense about it. I thought, Robinson, you had something to say? Somebody do it. Which one?
I'll tell you. I want to tell you that in this society, African Americans used to be the largest minority group. And now Hispanics are the largest minority group. And there's probably a reason for that. And the reason for that is blacks used to be one of the primary labor sources in the United States. But black people got to the point where they didn't want to do the blue-collar labor. So there had to be another group to come in and replace that group that didn't want to do that blue-collar labor. Now you have machines and computers that are doing work, that are making jobs, that are cutting jobs, and making it more competitive to get jobs. So if we're not doing the blue-collar work, and we're not getting the white-collar jobs, and the computers are getting the jobs, that's almost making the black group expendable. And it's making up, because it's more competitive now. And then for every one black person that's going to college, you got 10 whites going to college. So that by being a competitive side, you're going up against 10 against 1. So that makes it more a high probability of them getting a job over you.
I want to comment on, I see my favorite. I actually don't, Robinson's correct, but also that blue-collar labor that I wouldn't say all black Americans didn't want to do it, but the labor became too cheap. And one thing about that is they got the free cheap labor from us from 1697 to 1865. That's right. They got the cheap labor for 400 years. Okay? So one thing about it, now you're right. Sometimes it's better to have any job, but it's also, you got to put us market value. Hispanics, particularly a lot of illegal aliens, not the ones that are actually citizens, they got them because they are cheaper. And I don't mind my black Americans not wanting to do that for cheap, because you know what? There's maybe 15, 25 cities in the whole country that have a living wage if you can't hardly take care of yourself off $5, $6 an hour, let alone a family. So I think what would happen was blacks got tired of that. You know, no, we're not gonna do that. Whites wasn't doing it either because a lot of whites that didn't have opportunities and blacks that didn't have opportunities were doing this these blue collar strenuous laborers jobs. And now they got the illegal aliens and Hispanics to do it, but it wouldn't be able to suffice our type of lifestyle living anyway. But you are right, some people didn't want to do that, but it was also just the labor. It wasn't up to par with what we're supposed to make.
First of all, I want to say commend the young gangster rappers for that cultural art form, but I totally understand all of it. Yeah. One of the problems that bothered me here, you mentioned earlier that they had a combative spirit and that their words were metaphors. Now they as artists perhaps know that. But does generally Black America know that it's a metaphor? So as far as I'm concerned, too many of us take literally what they're saying. And consequently our combativeness is not against the system, but it's against one another. That's right. You know, that's not going to change the system. Okay. And with the defeaters, when you look at the video, so can you help me with that? Because as far as I'm concerned, combative spirit is different than combative action, and for whom that action is directed. Can you help me out?
Yeah, I'm going to say this. There's a line that Tupac said in, I think it was Gangsta Party, and he said, "Niggas been dying for years, so how can you blame us?" This is not nothing. From talking to my grandfather, my dad, my uncles. Violence has been, first of all, humanity is violent. No one in America can attack what's going on in the black communities all because this country was founded upon violence. Forcible kidnapping, illegal slave trading and buying, physical, sexual, mental abuse on male and female black Americans. So I don't even want to hear nobody comment about black, quote unquote, black violence because it's a human thing. But if they, now this is where the parenting in the household and the individualized culture comes in. I listened to gangster rap growing up, but I knew I wasn't going to go out and kill nobody because I had my father in front of me. So I think that goes into the teaching. And if they're listening in English and reading, even in elementary school, they'll understand metaphors, imageries, onomatopoeias, similes, all that. So if they go to school, they won't have to worry about, they'll know this man isn't literally talking about doing this, that, and the other. But it starts with teaching, too, to let them know what's fiction and what's non-fiction.